Hey everyone, my name is Kelly Dean Allen, and aside from being a world-famous YouTuber, I'm also the lead guitarist in a Metallica tribute band, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Escape from the band's Ride the Lightning album. That, coupled with the fact that I don't think that there are any walkthrough tutorials out there already for this one, generally considered to be James Hetfield's least favorite Metallica track from their vast catalog of music, this track has only been performed live one single time since the album was released nearly 40 years ago. So why? Why is it James Hetfield's least favorite track? Well, at the time the band was recording Ride the Lightning, they had 7 tracks in the bag and were happy with the results and ready to release the album. The record company, as usual, however, wanted one more track to fill out the album, something maybe a bit more lightweight that might get some rock radio airplay. The band reluctantly acquiesced and quickly wrote Escape in the studio at the last minute and threw it on the album. It never did get rock radio airplay, and James Hetfield had hated including it on the album from the get-go and refused to ever play it live, except for that one concert in 2012 when they played the Ride the Lightning album in its entirety one night. Now, personally, I was on top of this album from the day it was released way back when, because I'm old. And I've never thought less of Escape when compared to the other tracks on the album. It's a good track, certainly not the highlight of the album, but, you know, a good track nonetheless. Granted, the chorus is a little bit on the lightweight side, but it's got a killer guitar riff, great chugging verses, and a really heavy, grungy bridge, and a fantastic guitar solo from Kirk Hammett. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Escape as far as Metallica tracks go, in my opinion. I think they've done worse. Sorry, James, I disagree with you on this one, and if you're here to learn it, I'll just assume that you agree with me on that. So let's close in here a little bit on the fretboard, and I'm going to show you guys how to play it. All right, Escape by Metallica, one of the very, very few tracks that Metallica ever did in the key of A. Not a whole lot of Metallica tracks in A. Maybe that's why they don't like it, or why James doesn't like it. Anyway, a lot of octaves in this, and I think that's part of its charm. It's a lot of fun to play because there's a lot of octave work. Stuff like that, you know, where you're separating by one string and you're muting the string in between. A lot of that in this. And so it starts, I'm going to play through the opening little bit and the first 25 seconds or so, and then we'll dig into how to play it. So up to that point, and that's the first 2 verses, so it starts with an octave, right there, open A string and the 7th fret of the D. And then you're going to chug on the A string, kind of a palm muted chug on the A string, I think like 5 times. And then you're going to slide into 7 of the D off to 5. And then play that little lick. You're going to hit the 7 again, and then you're going to do a little trill between 5 and 7. And then you're going to jump up here with your pinky and grab 8 of the A and back it off to 7 of the A. So you're going to hit that 7, and then a little trill between 5 and 7. And then 8, 7 of the A. And then you're going to repeat that whole thing 3 times. And then immediately jump back into that octave by grabbing the 7th fret of the D string. Now you're going to start it the same way one final time. Now instead of going the fourth time, you're going to go double hit on 7 up to a double hit on 8. And now we're kind of into the riff proper. That little section there. So we are grabbing the octave again, and then chugging on that A string, palm muted A string like 5 or 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6 times. And then you're going to grab this little chord here. It's like a little reverse power chord. You've got your ring finger here on 7 of the D string, index back here on 5 of the G, and you're going to upstroke those. And you're going to do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now one more time, but we're going to shift down here for the final one. And now we've got our middle finger on 5 of the D and our index on 4 of the G. And then back to chugging. And then we're into our first little octave phrase. Right there. So we're going from 6 on the A, and we've got our pinky down here on 8 of the G. So we're going to back that up 1 spot, and then back it up 2 spots. And then move it back to the D position here at the 5th fret. And then back into the octaves on the A's. And then one final hit right there on that position, not the first position that we did 4 times, but the one that we only did once so far. After doing the octaves, back there, octaves again, and then into the first verse. So let's play through that opening section at a bit of a slow pace. It's not fast anyway, so. Shift, octaves, octaves again. And then after the second set of octaves, after you do that twice, we're going to jump down here to an F sharp power chord and ride the just the low E string on that 2nd fret. And then you're going to do this little jog up from the G back to the F sharp, and it's kind of like a little down up down up. You know, if you catch a little bit of the power chord, the full power chord, you know, if you're playing aggressively, a bit of the A string, you know, you've got your finger there on the 4th fret along with this power chord, and when you move up to G, you know, you've got your power chord position here on the A string of the 5th fret. If you catch a little bit of that, all the better, you know. You know, you can chug the whole power chord if you like, but I think he's just playing on the 1 string. You know, but it sounds fine either way, if you're just playing on the 1 string or if you're kind of like chugging this whole power chord. And I think he does that like 4 times before there's a quick little interlude in the middle of the verse where he does this. And then back into it for the second part of the first verse. And that is F sharp power chord up to a G power chord. And then a little chug, and then into an E power chord. And then another little chug, and then into an F power chord. And then into your F sharp power chord again. So you get those little muted chugs in there before I hit the power chord. And then back into that again. And then we're going to do those power chords again. And then into the chorus, we're going to jump from that F power chord into an A. Dun, 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 dun. So we're in an A power chord, and then we're going to quickly grab the open E onto an A power chord in this position, and then immediately jump it back to the G power chord. And then open E again quickly, and then onto the G power chord and back it up to the F sharp power chord here at the 2nd fret. Dun, 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 dun. And then with that, finishes up with that little line. You're going right down the F sharp minor chord, just on the top 4 strings. So the 2nd fret, you know, you've got your bar down the 2nd fret here, so you're just playing those notes. And then into the 2nd half. Dun, 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 dun. And so that's what one guitar is doing. The other one is playing along with the melody that he's singing, that very lightweight melody. And very simple, just all on the G string, sliding into 7, backing it up 6, 4, 2. And then back to 7, off to 6, back onto 7, 7 again. And then one final slide into 7, back it up to 6, back it up to 4. So you're going to repeat that melody line twice, and the 2nd time you're going to slide it back to the 2. The first time you don't do that, but at the end of the chorus you do. And then we're back into and now we're into the 2nd verse. Plays exactly the same way, then it goes into the 2nd chorus, played exactly the same way. And then we're into the bridge, which is a lot of fun to play, and it's the heaviest part of the song, and I love this part. Goes something like this. And that leads us into the solo. So you're going to play down in this F sharp power chord the 3 top strings. You're going to palm mute those. And then you're going to go into a B power chord at the 2nd fret on the A string, off to an A power chord. And then you're going to go back into the F sharp. And then you're going to go A up to a G power chord. And you're going to play that whole thing twice. When you go up to the G, hit that one twice. Again. And then into the slow, grungy. So, F sharp, hit that twice. B, A, G, B, A, F sharp, G, B, A, F sharp, G, B, A, open E, into G. And then now we're getting to the last little lick before we move into the solo. And it's all kind of using the same chords. Down those 3 notes again. And then B to A again. But this time we're going to chug along on the open A. A, G. And again, you're going to chug along on the G, which we weren't doing before. And then And one last time. Off to A, into an F power chord. And that leads into the solo. And just going to show you, before we get to the solo, I'm going to show you the outro, which is very similar riff to the opening riff, except now we're playing it in E. So after the solo ends, it ends coming into this. Until fade out. You know, that goes on for 30 seconds or so. Very similar to what we were doing earlier, except you're not repeating. You're going with the octaves, the low E and the 7th fret of the A string, and then chugging 5 times on the open E. And instead of that kind of reverse power chord that one there, now we're going to bar the 5th fret of the A and D, and we're going to upstroke on those. And then we're going to do the octaves again, same position, just now on the E string and the D string. So we're on the 6th fret of the low E and up on the 8th fret of the D. So 6, 5, 3, up to 5, and then back into the octaves again of the low E and the 7th fret of the A. Just repeats. And now there is another guitar comes in, starts playing along the melody line again, and I like to play this with octaves. You know, play on the whammy bar a little bit. So, you know, I think they're just playing like a single line. Kind of like that, but I think it sounds better with octaves. So it's up here 13 on the A and down here on 15 of the G. And then back it up 1 spot and then back it up 2 spots. And then back it up 3 spots to the E position here at the 7th fret of the A. And then back up here to 13, and then skip the one that you played to second the first time, back it up to 10, and then move it up to 12, and then back to 10. And then that just repeats as well, and until the song fades out. And so now we're going to have a look at the solo, and this is a great Kirk Hammett solo. I don't know why people don't talk about this one a lot more when they're talking about some great Kirk Hammett solos. I'm just adjusting my camera here a little bit. And so I'm just going to play through the solo, and then I'm going to show you guys how to play it. What he's doing at the end there, he's just slamming on the open strings as he's coming out of this little, as he's coming out of that, he just he slams on something, maybe some octaves there at the 5th fret, or maybe it's just the open bottom 4 strings. But so anyway, starts 3 full step bends at the 15th fret of the B string. And now we're going to do 4 more in quicker succession. A little more staccato on these ones. And now 1 more bend, and then release it and pull it off to 12. So, kind of like that. And then you're going to, after you pull off to the 12, you're going to immediately jump onto the 15 of the high E and bend that 5 times, and the 5th time you're going to release it back to the natural note. Sorry, 4 times, and the 4th time you're going to release it back to the natural note. And then you're going to play that little lick. Little trill between 12 and 15 back to 12. 15 of the B back to 12 of the high E, and then back onto 15 for a full step bend of the B string. Now, up to that point, in context, and now we're into the little scale run. So, 4-note pattern scale run, starting on the 15th fret of the high E, riding up the E natural minor scale. Riding the scale up that, the little scale run. 4-note pattern, 15, 14, 12 of the high E up to 15 of the B. Now you're going to jump down to the 2nd note that you just played, start the 4-note pattern again. Jump back to the 2nd note that you just played in that pattern and play another 4-note pattern. Likewise. And it's going to finish on the 14th of the D string, and then you're going to slide it back here and grab the 7th fret of the G, bounce it off the 9th of the D, and then back to 7 of the G. That's a real quick little shift. You could play that here. But it doesn't have the same. I can hear the difference between the wound string and the non-wound string, and I'm almost positive he's jumping that back here because it really sounds like a non-wound string. Like, I can hear a big difference there between the wound string and the non-wound string, and really the studio sounds like it's here, so that's what I'm doing. So as you're coming out of the scale run, you're going to go into this. Nine of the D, back to 7 of the G. 9, 7, 9, 7 of the G. And then you're going to go back onto the 9, release, bend it, release it off to the 7, up to the 9 of the D, and then finish off at the 7th of the G from the scale run. Okay. All right, so now we're into this final fun little lick that finishes up the solo. It goes something like this. Doing there, just hammering on some octaves or maybe on the open strings. A lot of chaos at that point at the end of the solo. So this little lick, that's the first part. We're raking down to the 12th fret of the high E with our pinky. And then you're going to just reverse that down the scale. You're going to go 10, back to 9, up to 12 of the B, and then back down to 9 of the high E. And then back onto 10. And then you're going to do a little trill between 9 and 10 and resolve it to the 12 of the B. Kind of like that. And then you're going to go 10 off to 9, back onto 10, hammer onto 12, and resolve it back to the 10. Kind of like that. And then we're into this. 9 onto 10 of the B, back to 9 of the B, and then roll up to the 9 of the G string. And resolve it to the 11 of the D. And then we're into this. Very simple, starting on 11 of the D. 9/11 of the G, little bend of that 11 off to 9, back onto 11, back off to 9. So up to that point from the beginning of this lick. Now we're into the fun lick, the one that ends the solo, and this is a very cool lick. Great little lick. 11 of the, I don't know if I ended with this already or not, but 11 of the D down to 9 onto 11 of the G. And then you're going to bend that G, and then you're going to hit a double hit at the 9th fret, of the B string. And you're going to hit a double hit there, and then you're going to pull off 12 back to 9. And then you're going to go back on to 11 of the G, and then another pull off from 12 to 9 of the B. And then a double pull off from 10 to 9 of the B, and then a double, and then a 11 back to 9 of the G, back on to 11, and then pull it off to 9 again. And resolve it to the 11 of the D. Kind of like that. And now we're going to bar the 9th fret of the G, the B, and the high E. And you're going to play that little lick. Starting on the 9 of the G, you're going to pull off 11 to 9. And then you're going to go down here and pull off 10 to 9 of the B, and then 12 to 9 of the high E. And then you're going to reverse it. Resolve it to the 11 of the D string, and then back it up to the 8 of the G, on to the 9, pull it back off to the 8, and resolve it to the 9 of the D. So that's that lick. I hope this was clear, because it's a complicated little lick to try and explain. You're into that. So as you're coming out of this, you're immediately, as soon as you hit that 9 of the D, you immediately start tremolo picking the B string. And then you're going to jump onto the 7, then onto the 9, then onto the 10, onto the 12, and then back it up to the 9. And then just slam the strings, or hit a whammy bar dive, or hit some harmonics or something like that. So that's the solo, and I hope that was clear. So let me run through this solo at a nice relaxed pace, and then we'll be done. And that's how you play Escape by Metallica, my friends. And I hope that helped you out. If you were looking to learn this classic Metallica track from Ride the Lightning, drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already. That would be awfully nice. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload something new. I hope you're well in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may be, and we will see you next time. Cheers.